As I crossed the milestone of 70, I noticed something I hadn't expected. My relationship with the world changed in profound ways. Life, once filled with a whirlwind of social gatherings, connections, and responsibilities, started to feel different. I realized that my time, energy, and peace mattered more than keeping up with every social expectation. What surprised me most was how choosing solitude, a concept I once avoided, became one of my greatest sources of comfort and strength. This journey wasn't about shutting people out. It was about finding a deeper sense of self, creating space for what truly matters, and embracing moments that fill the heart. If you found yourself longing for more meaningful experiences as you age, stay with me. Let's dive into why solitude can be the greatest gift. And tell me, where are you watching from? Don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories like this. 1. Time feels different. When you're young, time feels like an endless river, constantly flowing, with no need to worry about where it's headed. I remember my 20s and 30s, filled with late nights, endless conversations, and plans that could always be pushed to tomorrow. It was easy to think there would always be more time to do everything, see everyone, and chase every dream. But now at 70, time feels different. It no longer rushes by unnoticed. Each moment feels like a rare gem, precious and fleeting. I wake up in the early morning and watch the first light seep through the window. With a warm cup of coffee in my hands, I feel a deep gratitude for the simple act of just being present. A quiet morning used to mean nothing more than just a start to the day, but now it holds a peaceful kind of magic. A walk outside isn't just a way to get from one place to another. It's a moment to feel the ground beneath my feet, to listen to the rustle of leaves, and to appreciate the strength that my body still has. These experiences, which once seemed ordinary, now feel essential, each step a reminder to savor life's small gifts. What's changed most is my perspective. Time isn't something to take for granted anymore. It's a companion I cherish. This understanding has made me more intentional. I no longer spend hours on things that don't matter, or get swept up in activities that don't bring joy. Instead, I choose moments that nourish me, ones that remind me life is about quality, not quantity. The endless rush of youth has given way to the rich stillness of now. And in this stillness, I found a depth of contentment I never imagined. Time has become not just something to pass, but something to appreciate, and that shift has made all the difference. 2. Changing relationships. When I was younger, relationships were the cornerstone of my life. I prided myself on being the friend who showed up for every event, remembered every birthday, and kept everyone close. It felt important to be constantly surrounded by people, as if a full social calendar equated to a full life. But over the years, I've learned that not all relationships are meant to last forever, and that's okay. As I've grown older, I've noticed that some friendships and connections naturally fade, like a book you put down and never pick up again. It was hard to accept at first. I wondered if I had done something wrong or if I could have tried harder to keep them alive. But as time went on, I realized that life has a way of trimming your social branches for you. Some relationships end with a sharp break, others fade quietly, and both can feel bittersweet. Letting go of these connections wasn't easy, but it brought a kind of peace I hadn't known before. Without the pressure to keep up with everyone or maintain relationships that no longer fit, I found room for self-reflection. The quiet moments I gained helped me rediscover what I truly value: authenticity, mutual support, and kindness. The relationships that remain now are different. They are the ones built on shared understanding, where silence isn't awkward, but comforting. It's not about how many people I know, but about the quality of those bonds. When I sit down for a conversation with an old friend who truly knows me, the laughter comes easy, and the stories feel deeper. Choosing to focus on fewer but more genuine connections has been one of the most liberating decisions of my life. It has made space for the kind of relationships that don't just fill time, but nourish the soul. Letting go wasn't a loss. It was an opening for something richer and more meaningful. And in that space, I found a sense of peace I never knew I needed. 3. Trust and life lessons. When I was younger, trust came easily. I believed the best in people and saw the world with a hopeful openness. I would share stories, secrets, and dreams without much hesitation, convinced that everyone had good intentions. But life, as it often does, taught me otherwise. The older I got, the more I experienced the complexities of human behavior, broken promises, disappointments, and the occasional betrayal. These experiences didn't just make me cautious, they reshaped the way I approached trust altogether. I remember a time when I partnered with a friend on a business venture. Everything seemed perfect at first. We shared ideas and excitement about what we were building. But there were subtle signs. Moments when conversations didn't sit right or promises were delayed. I pushed those feelings aside, choosing to trust without question. When the partnership unraveled and left me picking up the pieces, I realized my instincts had been trying to tell me something all along. Ignoring them was a lesson I wouldn't forget. Now, at 70, trust isn't something I give away as freely. But this isn't born of bitterness. It's a blend of caution and self-respect. I've come to understand that trusting myself is just as important as trusting others. It's about listening to that inner voice that knows when something isn't right and giving myself permission to step back when I need to. This self-trust has become a foundation that guides my interactions and decisions, shaping how I relate to the people around me. Yet, even with the guarded nature that comes from years of learning, I haven't closed myself off. Trusting cautiously doesn't mean living in suspicion. It means approaching relationships with open eyes and an open heart, ready to embrace the good while being aware of the risks. The moments when trust is earned, whether through a kind gesture or a loyal friend, are now even more cherished. They remind me that while trust may be harder to give, it's not impossible. And learning to trust myself first has made trusting others, when the right moments come along, feel even more valuable. Adjusting to a fast-paced world. The world I see at 70 is not the one I grew up in. Life today is a blur of quick updates, instant messages, and a constant race against the clock. In my youth, days were simpler, marked by face-to-face conversations and unplanned visits with friends and family. Neighbors were like extended family, and interactions were warm and genuine. Now, everything moves at breakneck speed, and it's easy to feel disconnected in a world that's more connected than ever. Technology has brought wonderful things. I can't deny that. I love seeing my grandchildren's faces through video calls, and staying in touch with old friends, no matter where they are, is a gift. But I've also noticed that screens can build as many barriers as they break down. There's a difference between reading a text and sitting across from someone, sharing the nuances of a conversation. The endless pings and updates pull us into a cycle of shallow interactions, and sometimes it feels like the more we scroll, the less we actually know each other. For my generation, adapting to this digital world hasn't been seamless. Many of us have found ourselves learning how to use new gadgets, not out of a desire to keep up, but from a need to stay connected to the people we love. But there's also a choice in how we engage with this fast-paced environment. We don't have to chase every notification or respond to every message right away. We can slow down, prioritize what truly matters, and seek deeper connections. I've learned to put my phone down during conversations and make time for face-to-face visits, even if they're less frequent. The friends who are willing to meet for a walk or share a cup of coffee remind me of the richness that comes from slowing down. Quality over quantity has become my mantra, not just in the number of interactions, but in their depth. A single heartfelt chat outweighs a dozen rushed exchanges. So, to those of us navigating this new world, don't let the pace dictate your relationships. We can still find connection, warmth, and meaning, but we have to be intentional about it. Choosing to slow down doesn't mean falling behind. It means embracing what truly counts. And in a world that never stops moving, choosing quality over speed can make all the difference. 5. Solitude is strength. In my younger days, being alone felt almost like a failure. Solitude was something to be avoided, a sign that you were lonely or out of touch. I kept myself surrounded by people, thinking that busyness equaled happiness. But as the years passed and life shifted, I discovered that solitude isn't a void to fill. It's a well of strength. Solitude has become a time where I can truly reconnect with myself. It's in these quiet moments that I find the deepest contentment. Whether it's sitting by the window with a warm cup of tea and watching the sunrise, or taking a slow walk where the only sound is the crunch of leaves beneath my feet, these small, simple activities bring a joy that no crowded room ever could. In these moments, I am reminded that peace isn't found in constant activity. It's found in presence. Choosing solitude doesn't mean turning my back on others. In fact, it has helped me become more present in my relationships. Knowing myself better through quiet reflection has made my conversations richer and my connections more genuine. When I spend time with friends or family now, I am fully there, not distracted or exhausted from social overload. The quality of my interactions has improved because I come into them as a more centered, self-aware person. Solitude has taught me to enjoy my own company, to be my own source of comfort. This lesson, in turn, has shown me that I don't need external validation or a packed schedule to feel fulfilled. Instead, I've learned that my worth isn't measured by how busy I am or how many people surround me, but by the peace I carry within. It's a liberating realization that makes every chosen interaction more valuable. For those hesitant about embracing alone time, know this: solitude is not a withdrawal from life, but a step toward a deeper, more meaningful one. When you understand and appreciate yourself, you're able to share that fullness with others. Solitude teaches you to be enough as you are, and that understanding brings a sense of confidence that overflows into your relationships. In the quiet, I found strength, and in that strength, I found joy. 6. Choosing peace over obligation. In my younger years, I felt a strong obligation to maintain every connection, to show up for everyone, and to keep the peace at any cost. I said yes when I wanted to say no, attended gatherings that drained me, and kept relationships alive that gave little back. I believed that to be a good friend, partner, or family member meant always being available. But as I've grown older, I've learned that choosing peace over obligation isn't selfish, it's necessary. Avoiding certain people or situations now isn't about resentment or anger. It's about self-preservation and wisdom. I've realized that not every connection deserves the same amount of energy. There are relationships that uplift and nourish, and then there are those that weigh you down with negativity or shallow interactions. By being selective, I've found room for what truly matters: conversations that inspire, moments that uplift, and people who genuinely care. At first, this shift felt uncomfortable. I worried that choosing solitude or turning down invitations would be seen as withdrawal or bitterness. But I soon discovered the empowering truth. Prioritizing my well-being has led to a more authentic life. I no longer feel the need to justify choosing myself or explain why I've set boundaries. It's not about shutting people out, but about creating space for the relationships that enrich my life. This choice has made the time I do spend with others more fulfilling. I'm more present, more engaged, and truly happier because the connections I nurture are ones that matter. They're not based on obligation or routine, but on genuine respect and mutual joy. Choosing peace is a path that may feel unfamiliar at first, but it leads to a life that aligns with who you really are. Protecting your peace doesn't mean you've given up on people. It means you've learned to choose yourself first. And in doing so, you create a space that invites deeper, more meaningful interactions with those who value and respect the same. As I reflect on my own journey, I realize that seeking peace and choosing meaningful connections is not unique to me. It's a path many of us find ourselves on as we grow older. Prioritizing our well-being and focusing on the relationships that truly matter isn't just a personal revelation. It's a shared experience among those who have walked through decades of life's lessons. With age comes the wisdom to know that not everything or everyone needs a place in your life. It's normal and wise to reserve your energy for what uplifts you and brings joy. This stage of life is about cherishing your time, nurturing your inner peace, and understanding that your worth isn't defined by how much you do for others or how many people you keep around. To those navigating similar changes, embrace it. Don't let the fear of judgment or old habits hold you back. Choosing what's right for you is a powerful act of self-respect. It's okay to value your happiness and let go of what no longer serves you. This chapter is about living on your terms, with confidence and peace, and that's a journey worth celebrating. Choosing solitude or being selective about who we spend our time with isn't a sign of closing off or giving up. It's a reflection of wisdom and self-care. At 70, I've learned that protecting my peace and surrounding myself with genuine, uplifting people brings more fulfillment than keeping up with endless obligations or superficial connections. This choice has given me a richer, more authentic life, filled with moments that truly matter. To anyone at a similar stage, know that prioritizing yourself and seeking meaningful interactions is not only valid, but essential. Cherish the quiet mornings, the heartfelt conversations, and the freedom to say no. Embrace the moments that bring peace and let go of what doesn't. Life is most rewarding when lived on your own terms, with joy, contentment, and the courage to be unapologetically true to yourself.